Welcome everybody to Respawn Please, the weekly video game podcast where two dub-dubs come together to talk all things video games, but we haven't been here for a while. Because there was a tragic event in Ell's life. It's a very tragic event. He got married, He got freaking married. How more tragic can you get? I'm kidding. Congratulations, El, for getting married.
Thank you.
I'm your host, Jesus. With me, as always, is El. El, how the hell are you?
Oh, man, I'm great. Just still readjusting to being back here in America, in Atlanta, from being in amazing Japan and loving it with my partner, who is now my spouse. And so it's been crazy, man. It's been amazing going through a wedding and being all dressed up. I'll post it in the Respawn Please Discord here later of just like we took pictures, of course, of me in a suit, her dressed up in a dress that her mother made for her.
Oh wow! I've seen the dress, like what you've shown on Facebook and everything.
Oh yeah. No, that her mother is a seamstress and she knows how to design clothes and stuff, and so she made that dress for her.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was so
awesome.
Cool. Yeah, interestingly enough, side note, her mother also was the ordained minister for the wedding. So she actually married us. Yeah.
Nice. Double duty there.
I know, right? It was so crazy. But it was a lot leading up to it, to eventually then doing it and having a blast with everybody who came, who we invited. And then also, of course, going back to Japan for basically 2 weeks, 13 days, 2 weeks, something like that. And just loving it, man. And I took so many pictures, so many things that I've been posting slowly but surely on my old photography page. And so getting back into it. But man, other than that, to cut it short, it's been amazing and crazy.
Yeah. I bet, man. Sorry I couldn't come see you when you were in Japan or go to your wedding.
Yeah. It's all good. You got a whole other thing going on, so it's definitely understandable.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been something for me too. I've basically told you everything that I've been doing these last 2 weeks. So we don't stuff that I can't even talk about on stream because of
of
it involves my work and stuff. So I'm not allowed to talk about it in a public setting like this.
Of course.
Anyways, man, El, there is a lot to talk about.
A lot.
Because while you were gone, Xbox finally did it. Microsoft finally closed the deal with Activision-Blizzard-King. We have two big game releases this week, so you didn't miss that. We have two big game releases that are doing exceptionally well and critic wise, and then of course, with the good news comes the bad news. Not necessarily bad news per se, but Pete Hines of Bethesda is leaving. So we're going to talk all about all of this stuff. Hopefully it'll be a fun, engaging conversation. But during your time away, were you able to play anything at all? Or
actually, yes, I actually was able to play a couple things because, of course, on our journey, me and my partner's journey to Japan, of course, I had my Switch with me. And mostly, to be honest, I played a lot of Slay the Spire. I think I told you last time, I finally beat it with the defect. And then I started playing as the Watcher. And it was interesting to learn some of how the Watcher's cards work and just how you can go from calm to, I forget when it's like, is it aggressive or something like that? You go from calm
to wrath. It's Wrath.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Wrath. Yeah. And that playing with the Watcher is a lot of fun. Like I enjoy the shifting into different modes and stuff like that. Haven't got too far into it, but played some Slay the Spire. Played a little bit of Hollow Knight on the Switch. Played also. Of course, I ended up caving in and I bought Red Dead Redemption 1 for the Switch. And I actually, I'm not going to lie to you, it's probably one of a really great game, even though I played it before, like on, what is it, PS2, PS3, or I'm sorry, Xbox 360. And man, had a blast with it and playing it on Switch. I basically, through the whole trip, I think I almost beat it. I'm towards the end of the game now. And having it on the go is actually like a great experience that I enjoyed. Now, granted, $50 probably too much for Red Dead just to like be ported over to the Switch for that, but other than that, I enjoyed it. So
yeah,
nice. What you be playing?
Nice. Man, what have I not been playing? I have to look at what I wrote down. So I'll start with this because I was just playing it before we started this. Marvel Snap. I got back into Marvel Snap.
Oh, okay.
And Marvel Snap makes me mad. Marvel Snap just infuriates me because it's at times it feels like the game just purposely wants to screw you over. Yeah. And I'm just like, man, I don't know. Like, I know I haven't played Marvel Snap since probably like February. So I've missed several major drops, card release drops that are part of the meta and stuff like that. And so I'm very behind on the meta. And so I'm trying to catch up to all of it. And it's frustrating as hell because it's so more funny. I'm losing most of my matches and I'm doing what I can with the cards I have and stuff. And it just makes me mad. It just makes me mad, you know? I got nothing for it.
That's so funny.
But yeah, I'm back in the Marvel Snap mode. I'm just I just need to focus on just completing the dailies. That's really all it is. The problem with the dailies is that every now and then you'll get you need to win 2 matches. You need to win 4 matches. And it's like, motherfuckers, you're really making this hard for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're doing a Halloween themed season because it's Halloween.
Of course.
So they're doing Elsa Bloodstone or whatever the hell her name is.
Okay.
And she's part of the supernatural side of Marvel with Blade and Ghost Rider and all that.
Yeah. So, that's what I would think. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's cool. They're introducing the Midnight variants. If you remember Midnight Suns from last year, the game, they have Midnight Sun variants that actually look really freaking good. I really like the design of them. They're gold and black and stuff. They look really cool. Nice. I only have a couple of them, but they look awesome. So, but other than Marvel Snap, and I just got into Marvel Snap this week, so I haven't really been playing too much of it. But I've been playing it on my way to work. When I'm walking and just not paying attention. Probably not a good thing because I have to cross multiple streets. But but then I've also been playing Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty, the expansion, the DLC. And man, this game is pulled I don't want to say quite to the level of a No Man's Sky, but Cyberpunk, I think, was already a good game to begin with. Yeah. It's a really fucking good game, dude. The Phantom Liberty DLC is so good. This expansion is phenomenal. The story, the changes they made to the skill trees and everything, Phantom Liberty is just phenomenal. If you haven't played Cyberpunk yet, this is your chance to get the optimal version of it because it's just so damn good. Holy crap. I am blown away with it. It is so much fun. The story is so good. The stealthy elements that they've added really enhance the game in a lot of ways for me. And yeah, Idris Elba is great.
Nice.
He's one of the characters you meet and stuff. He's great.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm in love with it. I already liked Cyberpunk to begin with. I was one of the probably few people that liked it at launch, I had very little issues because I played it on PC. I had very little issues with it. And so never really had a problem with it at all, other than it got kind of boring after a while. But with the DLC, I haven't got bored with it. I'm really enthralled with it. I love going around the city. And I think part of it too is my immense love for Edge Runners too, the anime that they made earlier this year, or was it last year? Was that the end of last year or earlier this year? I can't remember.
I think it was last year.
It was last year. Yeah, it was last year. I Edge Runners. I love Edge Runners, and so now I'm seeing sites and stuff that I recognize from the anime and stuff, and some of the music that they used in the anime is also in the game. So it's nice. Oh, when one of the music beats hit, I'm oh yeah, Edge Runners, hell yeah. So
nice.
But yeah, I think with Edge Runners and Phantom Liberty, Cyberpunk really has found its identity and found its sort of I guess identity is the only way I can think of it. But this is the perfect time to get into Cyberpunk.
Gotcha.
It's just so damn good. And then other than that, I've been playing Cocoon, I played Cocoon. I beat Cocoon. We'll talk about Cocoon in the future.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to talk about it on Review Please Video Game Edition. After we do Sea of Stars, which I've been playing Sea of Stars too. I'll keep everything about Sea of Stars to myself for when we talk about it. And then I finally because I've you know this, nobody else knows this. I got a new laptop. I finally got upgraded from my old crappy laptop that was from 2015. Oof. I tried playing Baldur's Gate on it. Was not a pleasant experience. Tried to play Starfield on it. Was not a pleasant experience. And then when Cyberpunk was coming up, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get a new laptop so I can play these games and actually play Cyberpunk. Exactly. And so I got a new laptop. It's a 4070. 32 gigabytes of RAM, all this other fancy stuff. Like, it's really good. And so I've gone back and started playing Baldur's Gate and Starfield as well. Starfield, for some reason, I'm not sure. Like, I don't know what's wrong with the settings on it. No other game is giving this problem, but like Starfield is really dark on my laptop. I don't know why. Like on my monitor. No other game does that. No other game is dark. But like Starfield is to like the point where I can't really see anything. Whoa. And like no amount of like adjusting like the brightness is like doing it. And then like when I go play other games, because I've adjusted the brightness on my monitor, they all look like washed out. So I have to like lower the brightness and stuff. So I'm like, what is it with Starfield that is making my like where I can't see anything? Yeah. Like it's just too dark. Because like Baldur's Gate's fine, Dead Space is fine. You would think Dead Space remake would be dark as hell. No, Dead Space like perfect, runs amazing. Dead Space, let me tell you, Dead Space best looking game in 2023. Like God, man, Dead Space remake, it's so fucking good. It's so pretty. Amazing. God, man, I love Dead Space so much. That might be my game of the year. It's not. It's not my game of the year. But yeah, so I've gone back to a lot of the games since I've gotten my laptop, and I'm just playing through them. Right now, it's been mostly Cyberpunk, just because, again, Cyberpunk. If I had my PlayStation with me, I would be diving into Spider-Man 2. Oh, yeah. But I don't have Spider-Man 2. But you know what? Spider-Man 2 reviews are freaking out of this world. So... I was going to be like, man, this is a good transition. And then I was like, wait, that's going to break it. And then I just got lost in thought. But we're going to jump into this Marvel Spider-Man 2 reviews. It currently has a 91 on Open Critic. At the time of writing all this in the doc, it might have gone down. I wrote up the doc yesterday, so it might have gone down by now. But Marvel Spider-Man 2 has a 91 on Open Critic. IGN Simon Carty gave Spider-Man 2 an 8 out of 10, saying, as a sequel in a spectacular series, Marvel Spider-Man 2 is both blessed and cursed. Its story of two Spider-Man is a great time, and Spidey fans dream to play through as comic book pages are brought to life, elegantly walking the tightrope between light humor and heavier themes. Meanwhile, Insomniac refines a successful formula of combat and web swinging without revolutionizing either in major ways, making them comfy and familiar with just enough new tweaks and abilities to elevate them to fun new heights. The part that feels like it's actually needed a radical rethinking is the open world of New York City, which has been made bigger but not better, with an exhausting checklist of mostly repetitious side activities. But it's safe to call this another thrilling Spider-Man adventure that delivers Insomniac's best tale yet. And despite its open world falling short, it's a reliably fun superhero power trip. And you know what? Screw it. It really did make me feel like Spider-Man 2. I just like the last little bit there. And you know what? Screw it. It made me feel like Spider-Man. Then over on Game Informer, Matt Miller gave it a 9.5 out of 10, saying, Insomniac has nailed that rarest of video game development feats. The team has landed a trilogy of games that all stand strong on their own merits, but unite into a sweeping saga made better by experiencing its entirety. While more Spider-Man games will inevitably expand this mythology in new directions, there's no need to wait. With Spider-Man 2, the developer has found what makes superhero stories worth telling and retelling, and given its likable heroes the journey they deserve. Elle, Are you surprised at how well Spider-Man 2 is reviewing right now?
No, I'm not surprised, just because I think from the initial kind of like trailers, and then of course, you know, when PlayStation had their showcases, slowly but surely showing off gameplay of it, it definitely looked like Spider-Man 1. Just it looked great, very smooth. The city looked amazing. This just looked like a continuation of that with, you know, a different story with new villains for Spider-Man to face off along with Miles Morales and so on and so forth. And so I'm not super surprised. A part of me, when you first stated the Open Critic score, a part of me was expecting a little bit higher on the Open Critic score. I mean, it's still great to be 91 if that's what it still is. But I was going to be like, I was maybe thinking closer to like 94, 95, something like that. Just because I know how much people were waiting for this. This is definitely a exclusive, PlayStation exclusive that a lot of people were just like, it seemed to be that every time someone brought it up, people were fiending for it and they couldn't wait for it to release. And so it's still great. It doesn't surprise me that it's that high of a score. I think that it's Spider-Man, you know, if you love Spider-Man and you love that world, especially from Spider-Man 1, then I think it's going to be great for this one, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I agree. It's like, I've been watching, streamers play it and stuff, and like watching it, I'm like, oh yeah, this definitely looks like just Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man game. Like, even like a lot of the animations look the same, and that totally makes sense. You know, that totally makes sense. I'm not going to critique it for that or anything, but like the first set piece that you do is like, and this is a spoiler. So if you don't want to get spoiled on the first like 15 minutes of the game, walk away. But this is the first 15 minutes of the game. The game opens, and like you have this huge set piece where you're fighting Sandman. It's incredible. Like just watching that 15 minutes, like the scale that they have Sandman and the way that Miles and Peter like work together to take down Sandman and stuff. Like, I'm just like, I was just watching this and going like, man, I can't imagine playing this, because like I imagine it feels good playing because it looks so incredible just like watching it. And like the streamers that were playing it, I was watching Kind of Funny play. And they were like having a freaking blast. Like you could see it on their faces, you know, just being like, oh, this is so freaking cool. And like, it was like, as a viewer, I was like, oh yeah, this is dope as hell. Like, and it got me excited for what else, like what are the other big set pieces in the game that will come, you know. Unfortunately, I don't have my PlayStation with me, so I won't get to play it for a while unless I go buy another PlayStation while I'm here in Japan, which I'm not going to do. That would be stupid. Or maybe I will. I don't know. Actually, here we go.
Oh, I got it. It's like, I actually bought one today.
I actually bought one just now before we started streaming. No, I would not do that for Spider-Man. As much as I like the first Spider-Man, I actually, the one thing like that gives me hesitance with is something from Simon Cardy's from IGN mentioning that the open world, it feels like repetitious like checklist things. That's how I felt the first game was like, and that was like my least favorite parts of the first game. Like I just liked playing the story missions and the side missions, not the side activities, but the side missions.
Gotcha.
That give you like, you know, story beats and stuff like that. Whereas it, like in the first Spider-Man, I did feel like there was a lot of just checklist things of, oh, you got to defeat this 5 crime things and whatever to get the complete this zone and all this other stuff. And so like, if that's back, that is something that scares me, just because like I did not like that part of the first game. But I also don't like that in general in a lot of open world games where it's just a checklist of things to do. And you got to like, oh yeah, go fight 5 people here, go fight 10 people here, go find 20 pigeons. You know, Grand Theft Auto. Do you remember that Grand Theft Auto? Was it 4? Yeah.
Yeah, it was 4.
Yeah.
4.
Find pigeons all over it. You got to find 100 pigeons. Oh God, that was the worst.
Yeah.
So like, I hate those things. Like, I just hate those things. Like it's Spider-Man does do a good job of like rewarding you when you do those things, like getting like new costumes and stuff like that. And from the looks of Spider-Man 2, that's what it does here. They give you costumes and stuff for doing those activities, but it's still like still chucks, you know? So,
yeah, I get that. Makes sense.
But yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm excited to play it again. I probably won't get to play it until like next year when I'm back in the States or something, or whenever I have my PlayStation. But
Yeah,
maybe we'll get lucky and they'll like be like, you know what, for the holiday spirit, everyone gets a free PlayStation. I'm kidding.
wow.
Sony, you're so nice.
I know Sony. Oh man, I like y'all more.
Speaking of Sony, something I didn't include in the doc, and this is a side tangent since we're on the topic of Sony right now, PlayStation. Have you seen the refresh of the Playstations? The new the new models?
Slims. Yeah, the Slims.
The removable
yeah
drive. I will say, like, the slim one with the drive on it looks freaking weird. It goes, it's like there's like a large bump there. It's like, that looks a little weird. It has a big booty, basically.
That's so funny.
So back to Spider-Man though. I'm happy to see it. I expected it to do well. I actually was expecting it to be more in the 80s than the 90s.
Oh, really? Okay.
So I'm kind of the opposite of you. I was expecting it to be lower than what it is.
Interesting. Okay.
Just because like the first Spider-Man only got like a 87, right? Something like that on OpenCritic. I'd have to double check. But
I can look it up real quick. Let me see.
Yeah. It was like 88, 89, somewhere around there. So I was expecting it to land around there too. So I think, and then Miles Morales might have been the same too. I don't remember.
Yeah, it looks like the first Spider-Man got 88. That's what it got. And then if I look up Miles Morales, that received an 85. 85.
Okay, so yeah, that was a little lower. Also, Miles's hair is dope. I really like his hairstyle in the opening credit that I saw, in the opening scene that I saw. He had dope hair.
Nice. That's cool.
Anyways. So, but yeah, like, I'm excited for Spider-Man though. I'm looking forward to it. Does this make you want to go get a PlayStation? Or are you just like, I can just play this when it comes to PC eventually, since the first Spider-Man's on PC?
Exactly. Yeah. I kind of feel like it's tough, especially in the day and age that we're in, with like, it's getting harder and harder to kind of get an exclusive, because usually most of the time a lot of, PlayStation and Xbox had exclusive that made you want to get the system for that game. With everything how it's moving now, it's kind of like, well, for me, I'll say this, that Spider-Man isn't enough to pull me to go buy a PlayStation. I did think about getting like a PlayStation Slim, just for the simple fact that I enjoy playing God of War. And then whenever, they continue to work on the series, it'd be cool to keep playing it. But even then, I still hesitate a little bit. Like, am I really going to spend this amount of money when I could probably, like you said, just wait a year or however many years until they port it over to the PC and just do that. But for me, I'll say that it's not enough to make me want to go get a PlayStation just for Spider-Man.
Yeah. I agree. Like, there's very few games that I would consider buying a whole system for.
Yeah.
Spider-Man's not one of them. Like, I like Spider-Man. I'm not the biggest Spider-Man fan. Like, if a X-Men game came out and it was like exclusive to like PlayStation or exclusive to Xbox or something, and it was a freaking banger, then I would get it, because I love X-Men. But like, so I think an X-Men banger of a game would be the only one I'd be willing to do.
Yeah, I'll say that because that's interesting. Because I guess maybe it also depends on, I guess, the property, like you said, the game. And I think that, for example, I mean, doesn't PlayStation have the exclusive of the Wolverine game?
It has Wolverine.
And so I love Wolverine. Wolverine was one of my favorite X-Men growing up. But that a part of me kind of like, oh, it'd be cool to play the Wolverine game. But even then, it's still like, just for the one game, like, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of something else. I don't think there's not too many games that I would be willing to just buy a whole system just to play. Because like when I made the jump to PlayStation, it was more like, oh, I wanted to play multiple games, not just. And at the time of me making the jump to PlayStation, there wasn't really any of them on PC yet. So exactly, because like I wanted to play Spider-Man, I wanted to play Horizon and all that. So
yep, and then
God of War and blah blah blah. So
slowly but surely, everything, slowly and surely, everything gets just ported over to the PC. Sure, you have to wait a little bit longer than if you just had the system, but it just kind of like in the long run of things, it's like there's so many options with PC compared to a system. I mean, if you just look at Xbox, I mean, you really don't even have to buy an Xbox to play Xbox games anymore just because of Game Pass. And
I mean, if you want the optimal version of Redfall, you got to play on Series X. Like,
no. Even though I've heard, speaking of Redfall, they got an update that's supposedly way better. Yeah. The game's way better now, which I thought about going back into.
It is the same fucking game, dude.
Oh, that sucks.
If you didn't like it the first time, you're not going to like it because it's mostly like just they fixed like the stuttering issues and stuff like that, graphical issues. Like the core gameplay, they did not change at all. So like if you didn't like the gameplay, then you're not going to like it. But they did make it like run better. Basically, the graphical fidelity of it was updated and stuff. But yeah, like gameplay wise, it's still the same. So if you didn't like the gameplay, you're not going to like you're still not going to like it. So. Because I've also been playing Redfall. That's my guilty pleasure game.
Oh,
I can just turn my brain off and play it. Yeah.
Nice.
Because I like it. So
yeah.
But I'm biased.
Well, I guess I'm never going back.
Yeah. No, you're gonna go back. I'm gonna make you play it.
We should play it.
Yeah, we should play it. Let's play it on stream right now. Start it up, baby. But yeah. So you know what is a system seller though? You know what? People will always buy this just to play the next Super Mario Bros. Game, and Super Mario Bros. Wonder. It's a motherfucking banger, dude. It's a banger, dude. Like, man, we're gonna talk about this after this, but like this year continues. The bangers after bangers after bangers. There's so many bangers this year, and Super Mario Bros. Wonder continues it. It has a 92 on OpenCritic. IGN's Ryan McCaffrey gave it a 9 out of 10, saying Super Mario Bros. Wonder establishes a new standard for what 2D Mario platformers should look like. It is colorful, it is alive, and it is joyful. It has also managed to surprise and delight me in continually more creative ways thanks to its unpredictable wonder effects, which transform levels into something completely different for a brief while. Like dessert in the middle of the main course of each stage, they were irresistible and always put a smile on my face, as did the absolute beast that is Elephant Mario. Yes, Elephant Mario, praise be. In every way other than advanced challenges, Wonder feels like a 21st century successor to Super Mario World, and I'm not sure I can give it a higher compliment than that. Then over on GameSpot, Steve Watts gave it a 9 out of 10, saying Super Mario Bros. Wonder is a bold choice for a name. It plants a flag in the ground that suggests anything less than a constant sense of awe and delight will be a failure by its own terms. But then, surprisingly, Mario Wonder rises to the challenge, and the result is a modern classic. The Wonder effects are the marquee feature, and for good reason, as they serve as a springboard for a cornucopia of creativity, but it's the smart and thoughtful choices around new power-ups, badges, online multiplayer, and visual flair that's cemented in Mario canon. This is the rightful successful to Super Mario World, and hopefully will serve as a touchstone for 2D Mario going forward. Elle, does this surprise you about Super Mario Bros. Wonder being so well received? Does this surprise you at all?
Not really. I mean, Mario is he's a titan in the video game world.
Yeah.
It's not many Mario games that if I think about it, that aren't that successful or aren't that great overall. There's a handful, but for the majority of it, I'd say like 80 to 85 to 88% is probably like, very successful, and people, reviews come in just rejoicing of how great the game is. It doesn't, because I mean, even though I'm not a very big Super Mario Brothers like player anymore, like I don't really play it that much anymore, with the occasional maybe like Mario Kart, but I never really got into the new generation for the Switch of Mario games, and so I'm not surprised, just because like it seems like I said, they have this formula, or they just know how to make things interesting for the player, to where it just every game that they turn out is just like something new, something fresh, and it just makes Mario that much better,
Yeah. So I am not a Mario person. I've said this multiple times. Don't give a shit about Mario. Sorry everyone. Not the biggest Mario person, but I am interested in checking out Mario Wonder. I'm surprisingly, and the reason I said that Mario will sell systems, my dad messaged me and was like, "Oh, have you checked out the new Mario Wonder stuff? Like, have you seen the new Mario game? I'm thinking of going and buying a Switch so I can play it."
Wow.
Because like he's been swayed by the reviews and like the trailers and stuff, and like my dad, he hates consoles. He hates consoles. He's a PC person through and through. He's rarely ever touched a controller. And so like when he messaged me, it was like, "Oh yeah, I'm thinking about going to get a Switch." I was surprised by that because like, yeah, he used to play Mario back in the day when he was like in the Air Force and stuff, living in the barracks and all of that. I said barracks, really weird. Barracks. Barracks. When he was in the Air Force and stuff, they had like a community, like, you know, Nintendo, and they would just play Mario and stuff. That's what he always told me anyways. And so, yeah, like, so yeah, like this Mario is a system seller, like compared to Spider-Man. And I'm sure people are going to go buy a PlayStation for Spider-Man and stuff, but I just feel like Mario is probably going to be the big seller for it.
Of course.
For the Nintendo Switch. Not PlayStation. Maybe they could sell PlayStations. Who knows?
Whoa.
You know, I'm sure somebody out there bought a PlayStation thinking they could play Mario games, and then they were sadly mistaken. Anyways.
True.
I don't know why I go on weird rambles. But yeah, I'm not the biggest Mario person at all either. I just don't give a shit. I'm not a platformer person to begin with. So like me saying that I'm interested in playing it means I will probably play for an hour and then never touch it again. So I don't know if it's worth buying.
Exactly.
But like by all accounts though, I do like the look of it. I love the trailers for it and stuff. Like it looks phenomenal. So yeah.
Nice.
And it's just fun to note that according, like looking at OpenCritic and the top 5 highest reviewed games so far of this year, the top 5 has 2 Nintendo games. So
nice.
Legends, Tears of the Kingdom, and then Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and then the other ones are Baldur's Gate 3. Which is tied with Tears of the Kingdom for the highest rated game at 96. A game called Videoverse, which I've never heard of.
Videoverse.
Yeah. Oh, this doesn't count. There's only 10 reviews. They should take that down.
That's so
There's
funny.
only 10 reviews for that. And then Resident Evil 4, the remake. So, and then technically it's like a 3-way tie actually for the 4th spot. Because Resident Evil 4, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and Street Fighter 6, and then Marvel Spider-Man comes in at the end. So actually, yeah. But yeah, so there's 2 Nintendo properties that like are 2 of the highest rated games of the year. So it's just fun to think about because like Nintendo, they can make banger after banger after banger, you know.
Yeah, definitely,
and just have a damn good time with it. Do you think now that we're here? Big picture ideas. Do you think that Marvel Spider-Man 2 or Super Mario Bros. Wonder has a chance of becoming Game of the Year? With the juggernauts that seem to have taken over the world, which is Baldur's Gate 3 and Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, could Marvel Spider-Man 2 or Super Mario Bros. Dethrone them at the game awards at the end of the year? Or do you think it's just going to either be Tears of the Kingdom or Baldur's Gate 3 that wins it all?
Yeah, I have a feeling that I don't think Spider-Man 2 definitely can't dethrone it just because it's like there's hype for it, but it doesn't feel like the same hype that Baldur's Gate 3 had or Tears of the Kingdom had. It just seems it seems like a very niche hype for it, if that makes sense. Like didn't seem like.
I mean, Baldur's Gate is pretty niche, so
no, true, but I think what it had with Baldur's Gate 3, I think it went a little beyond the niche for like the audience and just how much attention it got of how great it was. Like people went out of their way to say, wow, you know, people who didn't even play D&D like myself were swayed enough to be like, let's go try it, and then being like, oh, this is amazing, you know, and knowing nothing of how to play D&D or just how it goes, you know, or like a very faint idea of, you know, what that consists of. So like I don't think Spider-Man's going to dethrone it. I don't think it has a chance. It'll probably be nominated. Of course, it's Spider-Man.
It'll be like because normally there's like 6, I believe, games that are nominated.
Exactly.
I can see it being one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can see that being nominated. Mario, I think it has a slight more chance versus Spider-Man too, but I don't think that Mario is going to beat Tears of the Kingdom or Baldur's Gate 3 personally. Yeah. I could be wrong, and I just could not. I could not have my ear to the fan base of Mario that are going crazy for Mario Wonder. But but I think that really, to be honest, currently, the race for Game of the Year is currently only between Baldur's Gate 3 and Tears of the Kingdom, and a part of me kind of feels like Baldur's Gate 3 is edging out Tears of the Kingdom currently, just because I think that Tears of the Kingdom was an amazing game. With hype, it came. People were captivated. But Baldur's Gate 3, I feel like, left a little bit more of an imprint on the gaming industry when it came out. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. I think this is going to be a conversation we're going to actually have with Sea of Stars. Okay. I think nostalgia is a hell of a drug. Yeah. And so when it at the end of the day, I think nostalgia might be the edge that Tears of the Kingdom or Super Mario Bros. Wonder, just the nostalgia for those IPs, where Baldur's Gate 3 doesn't really have that nostalgia. True. Nobody sits there and goes, man, Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, best games ever made, man. Yeah. Whereas you have like with Zelda and Mario, a constant 20 plus history of just love for those franchises, those IPs. True. Baldur's Gate doesn't really have that nostalgia factor. It has the holy shit, this game came out, this was an incredible experience, everyone is talking about it for that month. I still get TikToks, I'm sure, like the algorithm and stuff has made it so, but the algorithm gods have made it so. But like I still see a lot of stuff about Baldur's Gate 3 and from people that I know, like never played D&D, like, I know you've never played D&D, but like my dad's been playing Baldur's Gate 3. He doesn't give a shit about D&D at all or any of the older Baldur's Gate games or anything like that. So like, and he's having a great time with it. So like there are people I know that like have never been interested at all. And so Baldur's Gate kind of captured them in that way. And I think that's a testament to like the strength of what Baldur's Gate 3 is, that it's just a really good game. Like the things that you can do on top of the incredible story and characters. And I think that's where Baldur's Gate 3 shines, is that you have such incredible characters, incredible story. Just the writing is just on point for almost every interaction. The writing just feels so damn good and so natural. And I think that's, For me, that's why Baldur's Gate 3 is Game of the Year. There's still a chance. I talk about it like I've mentioned like, oh yeah, Cyberpunk might be my Game of the Year, or Starfield. I'm in love with Starfield. That might be my Game of the Year. It's like, no. When I really sit down and think of it, it's like, no, Baldur's Gate 3 is my Game of the Year because it's just incredible. Now, exactly. We still have some bangers coming out later on. I just hit my mic. We still have some bangers coming out because we still got Alan Wake 2 coming out the Friday before Halloween. Yep, that will probably be a banger of a game. Hopefully, everything by all accounts looks good. And let's take a moment to appreciate the fact that if you like survival horror games, you're eating good this year, because you had Dead Space to start. You had Dead Space to start. You had the Resident Evil 4 remake in March, April, right? Yeah. And then you have Alan Wake 2, which is survival horror as well. Wow. Coming out at like you had potentially three banger of like survival horror games. Like, we'll see how well Alan Wake 2 does. It could come out and just be like, oh, it's pretty, but it's horrible. that would make me sad. But like, we still have Alan Wake coming out. We still have Super Mario RPG coming out in November. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. We have another fucking Nintendo title that comes out that could potentially be a freaking banger. It probably will be a banger, right? Yeah. Because it comes out, November 12th, 13th or something like that. So yeah, I think so. We have another banger of a Nintendo property coming out. We still have, I doubt anyone's going to care except me. But Like a Dragon, the man who erased his name, coming out next month. Like you still have Call of Duty,
games.
right? Coming out next month.
Call
is
of
Call of
Duty,
Duty coming out next month? Yeah, Call of Duty's coming out, or is it already out?
I think remember. It's
Call of Duty 2023. I can't remember.
It's Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, if I remember correctly. Yeah. I don't know. I think I've seen it. Has it already come out? Let me see. No, it comes out.
We're just fumbling around because I have no idea when it's supposed to come out. I don't see anything. Like, why can't it just tell me? Internet. I Google search and you should just tell me. Don't give me all this nonsense. November 10th.
There you
it's
go.
Coming out
so
November 10th.
Next month.
Yeah, you still have Call of Duty, which I'm sure is going to be a banger for like the casual folks that just like, either play FIFA every year. Well, correction, it's not called FIFA anymore. It's called EA Football Club, or FC. So let's correct that. There's no more FIFA. The FIFA doesn't exist in the video game space anymore. It's just Football Club now. How do you feel about that, by the way? Have you even do you even care? Like, are you even going to play EA?
No, I have considered about purchasing EA FC 24 just because I thought about getting back into it just because I've been watching soccer here and there. And it's been fun getting back into it. And I was like, maybe I should do it just to kind of play career mode and, whatever. But at first it's weird, but it's only weird because, we've been so used to just saying FIFA, whatever year it is,
Yeah.
That was going on for so long. And then to FIFA sounds so much better than EAFC, you know what I mean? But outside of that, besides not being, now I'm kind of used to it. I'm just I've gotten it's just EAFC. It's still, I think it's kind of one of those things where even though it's not called FIFA, people will probably still refer to it as FIFA, even though it isn't called that anymore. But at this point, I'm just like, it's the same game just every year, the same way that Madden is just Madden 24, Madden 25, Madden 26, it's the same thing with the NBA video game as well. So at this point, I'm just like, it's just, one of those games.
It's just a game. It's going to be a game. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'll get into it. Probably not. I've always sucked at like the FIFA game. So it's like, what's the point? What's the point? But yeah, so like there's still plenty of games that come out. Call of Duty. I mean, I'm sure someone out there is excited for Avatar, the Avatar game that's coming out in December. Oh, yeah. Pandora tomorrow. I don't know what it's called. Pandora tomorrow is a freaking Splinter Cell game.
That's so funny.
From Frontier, it's like Avatar. Pandora Frontiers. Something like that. And like, I'm sure someone out there is excited for that. Are you excited for that? Would you want to play the Blue Cat as a Blue Cat?
No, I don't want to play as Jake Sully. No, I don't want to play.
Are you playing as Jake Sully? Is that who you play in that game?
No, I don't think you are. I think you're just playing as an avatar.
I think you're just playing as a random new character.
It looks okay, but I'm not really excited. I'm not really sucked into the world of Avatar as much. It just isn't as exciting for me, I'd say.
Yeah. Something we didn't talk about, and I debated about including this in here during the review roundup, just because like it came out a while ago. But the new Assassin's Creed game, Mirage, seems to be doing well. People seem to enjoy it. It went back to its roots. Are you interested in going back and playing Assassin's Creed Mirage?
A part of me
getting that feeling of the first Assassin's Creed.
A part of me thought about it for a second, but I've never been super big on Assassin's Creed. I think I played the original and maybe a little bit of 2 when they came out, but I never really went through a full game. Maybe I could give this a chance to kind of just get reintroduced to it. But other than that, I'm not really drawn to it as much. But like I wouldn't mind giving it a chance, so to speak. But I see, they're playing tricks on everybody because they do you see the whole thing, what they did with it, where they were like, oh, there's cats in here that you can pet. We all love cats. They're going off of that Stray thing, but, cause everybody loves a good cat.
Fuck that game. God, fuck that game. That game sucked. Stray was the worst game of 2022.
Oh my God.
Game was horrible. God, what a vomit inducing game.
But we'll see. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'll give it a try once I get through it. It's not at the top of my list of games to finish and play. But maybe if I'm bored one day, maybe I'll give it a try.
So before we move on to the two Xbox topics to end the show. I want to ask, with what remains, what are you most excited about? And do you intend to complete any of these games before the end of the year? So when we get around to Game of the Year conversation, or do you feel like you're getting a good impression of what, like, do you feel the need to go back to like play Tears of the Kingdom when you've already seen so much hype around it?
Yeah.
You kind of already know about it. Like, are you wanting to go back and experiencing some of these games that you haven't had a chance to? Basically, like going into your backlog.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, what are you excited for, and any games in your backlog that you want to complete before the end of the year? That's better phrasing.
Yeah, so I'd say definitely there's a couple games I want to revisit that I haven't got a chance to, which is, of course, Tears of the Kingdom was being one of them. Another one I'd say that I can't wait to play is, of course, Alan Wake 2, just because Alan Wake 2 for me is sitting in a place where it's kind of like, you know, it's not necessarily up in the air, but, you know, I'm hoping for the best for it. Just because I want it to be good. Anytime like a horror game can be, I guess horror survival can be good. I'm happy for that, just because, I mean, they get made, but I feel like it's not really a genre that's much appreciated or gets that much of a great
I mean,
games.
you had two bangers already this year.
I know,
That's based in Resident Evil.
True.
They're bangers.
I'll say this, that I guess I want to go back through the Dead Space remake and actually finish it. I'm trying to think of what else is to come.
It's a perfect 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5 game. You go back and watch my review. I gave it a 5 out of 5.
I myself want to play through it again, just because I mean, you introduced me to it, so and I love Dead Space. It's a great story.
I love Dead Space so much. I just love it so much.
I'd say, I'm trying to think of what else is to come. Oh, I'd say that I'm excited for another game that I think will do well, but I'm hoping that I don't get. It's not like I'm hyping this game, but Mario RPG, because I'm actually excited for that, because like this kind of, the reason why I'm excited is because, of course, we saw our friend Zach in college. He would play the original Mario RPG, and I always find that interesting. I was like, Mario, an RPG game? I was like, I've never heard of this. It felt like a mythical tale that only few saw, but I think it'd be cool to play through that.
Well, I have good news for you. If you like Sea of Stars combat, Mario RPG, very similar.
Oh, well, I'm gonna love it then. No.
Sea of Stars was inspired by anyways.
Oh, well, there you go.
I mean, if you go watch the trailers, you can see what I'm talking about. It's like, yeah. But anyways.
I think I'm trying to think. Of course, I want to go.
Lies of P. You don't want to go back and try Lies of P?
I forgot. Of
course,
course,
you have to, because we're going to review it.
Exactly. So Lies of P is definitely one that I want to go through. I'm trying to think of all
Let me tell you, that game, awful, fucking horrible game. I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding.
I think I'll enjoy it, but I want to finish Starfield and actually give it its proper due. Most of the games, of the ones that get nominated for Game of the Year, I plan to at least finish half of them, if not a little bit more than half of them. Just to kind of give it its proper...
You're going to have to buy a PlayStation because Spider-Man's getting nominated, bro.
Well, Spider-Man's going to be one of the ones I don't finish.
He's going to screw that game. I mean, none of it matters as long as you play Baldur's Gate 3, you know?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Baldur's Gate 3. I still want to go through I still want to go through Baldur's Gate 3 and finish that, just because Baldur's Gate 3 is such a great game. And I think if I remember correctly, I think so far of the games that I want to play or have yet or finish up, and the ones I have yet to play, a part of me though is kind of getting like I think what I think will be the contenders for Game of the Year. You know, however many they nominate, whether it be, you said it was 6, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, normally it's like 6 or 8 or something like that, somewhere around there. So.
Yeah, so far, after looking at all the games that have come out, really only 2 stand out, which I mentioned earlier, and that's like Baldur's Gate 3 and Tears of the Kingdom. So far, but with the rest of this year that we still have to go, who knows? For some reason, things could just flip on their head, and next thing you know, Alan Wake 2 is in the talks of like, this is an amazing game.
This is the banger of the games, yeah.
Exactly, and it just gets a hold of everyone, But we'll see. But yeah, to long-winded answer to short, I have a couple of things. But what about you?
So this is going to be a controversial statement.
Oh boy.
I'm going to probably infuriate a lot of people by saying this because I never completed it, and I want to go back and complete it. I want to complete Hogwarts Legacy.
Okay.
I never completed it. I enjoyed it. I just fell off of it hard because like other games are coming out, or like because I was playing it and it was taking me forever to complete it, and then Star Wars came out. Even though Hogwarts Legacy came out in February, then Star Wars came out in like April, I believe, or something like that.
Yeah, right after.
There was a lot of time for me to complete Hogwarts Legacy, but I was just I would work and just, all of that stuff just prevented me from doing that. And so, and when Star Wars came out, that became my focus because, like, I fucking love Star Wars. I love Star Wars. So I do want to go back and play Hogwarts Legacy. I want to give that horrible game. What was that freaking game called? Atomic Heart. Whatever the hell that game is. I want to give it a try to just see if I will like it.
Oh boy.
It made me not want to review games. Like, remember at the beginning of the year, I was like, I'm going to review all these games.
I remember.
I played that game and it made me like, I don't want to review games anymore because this is a horrible experience.
It upset you so much that you stopped reviewing games.
Yeah, I did. I was like, man, Dead Space was fun to do. I thought I edited it fairly well and everything. And then, that game came out. I was like, oof, I don't know if I can do this. But I want to give it a try again just to see.
Yeah. I get that.
See. And then I need a complete Lies of P. Like, I was really into it for a little while, and then like I just dropped off because I got to a boss that I couldn't beat. Yeah. And then I was just like, I'm tired of this. That's my problem with any like Souls-like game where it's just like, I just don't want to deal with this. I don't get gratification from just overcoming this challenge. It just pisses me off and makes me not want to play the game. And that's what happens with Lies of P. We'll talk about that in the future when we get to the actual review stuff that we're going to do for it. And then of course, Alan Wake. Of course. Alan Wake 2, always. And then Dragon Ishin. It's on game. It just got put on Game Pass this past week.
Nice.
So I want to play through that as well because I love Like a Dragon, Yakuza, and all that stuff. So, nice. That's what I'm playing. That's pretty much what I'm going to probably be doing for the rest of the year. And then of course completing Cyberpunk 2077 and probably continuing Starfield. So yeah,
I get that.
All
Makes
the fun
sense.
stuff.
I just realized that one game that we didn't bring up, which I think for a good reason, both of us, as far as like being in those contenders of Game of the Year, because I kind of, for me, maybe you'll agree, maybe you'll disagree. It kind of came and went was Final Fantasy that came out this year on PlayStation and PC.
The fuck you talking? It didn't come out on PC.
Oh, sorry, PlayStation.
It's PlayStation exclusive.
There you go.
For now.
It kind of did that game. Do you think it just died out, or maybe it's collective fan base who enjoyed Final Fantasy enjoyed it?
So Final Fantasy 16. The people that love it fucking love it. So like the fan base loves it. For me, I played the demo. If you remember this. I played the demo. I was like, dude, this is dope as hell. I bought it. I started playing it. And then I was like, oh, this is just Final Fantasy. Like the demo tricked me. Being like, oh, this is so cool. And it was cool. And the game is good. Like the game is good. But like it quickly, like when the game started and I got past the cool like intro and everything, I was like, oh, this is just like any other Final Fantasy in like terms of its structure of how it does its quests and like story beats and stuff. I was like, there's a reason why I'm not a big fan of Final Fantasy. I don't really care about it. A lot of it has to do with like its structure of quests and like a lot of just like grinding and unfulfilling things for me. So like that's where I'm at with Final Fantasy 16. I haven't completed it. I probably only made like 25 to 30% through the game and stuff. Like it just reached a point where I was just like, I don't like the way this stuff is flowing. And the big epic beats are too spread out for me to make me want to keep playing. So
exactly.
But like the people that love that game love it, and it'll probably be like nominated for stuff. I don't necessarily think Game of the Year, but it'll probably be like nominated for maybe RPG or maybe action adventure or something. It's more action adventure than it really is RPG, but
Okay.
But because it's Final Fantasy, it'll probably be nominated for RPG.
Gotcha.
It won't win. It will not win against Baldur's Gate 3. Like it just won't. But I said this makes me think of one more game before we continue that I realized I had completely forgot about until just now. Dave the Diver?
No. Well, even though I think that should be nominated, but no.
I love Dave the Diver. That's another game I've been playing. I forgot to mention it.
Nice.
I love Dave the Diver.
But this game you loved when it first came out. You were addicted. Diablo 4. What about Diablo 4?
Diablo 4 fucking sucks, dude. It's not I don't think Diablo 4 will get nominated. Not for Game of the Year. I think it'll probably get nominated for like RPG and stuff. Yeah. Maybe like online, like usually like the Game Awards has like best online game. It'll probably get nominated maybe for that, for like online play. I could see that. I don't necessarily think that would win, but I could see being nominated for that. Okay. I don't see it getting nominated for Game of the Year though. I think the initial high of it was strong, and then it quickly, like after the first month, it quickly fell off, and then it fell into a bunch of controversies, like with nerfs and all this other stuff. Now they started the new season, and apparently the new season's really good. It's like Halloween themed, vampire themed season.
Gotcha.
I haven't jumped into it at all, but yeah, like. I don't think Diablo 4 will be nominated for Game of the Year, at least. Yeah, probably in a random category somewhere, but I don't think Game of the Year.
I agree, because it definitely, when I think of Diablo 4, for a second, I thought it had the potential just because of that initial high. And when it was high, it was high. Like
it was like up there.
Exactly. Everyone was talking about how great it was. And like, I was even considering it, but then as soon as that first those nerfs came in,
and everybody was angry.
It just shot all the way down, and it just kind of fell off from the face of the earth after that. With like you said, with everything else that went on with it. But it's like, interesting.
Yeah, and on top of even though they're completely different games, and it's hard to separate the fact that they're both Blizzard games, but like controversy with Overwatch kind of also made people sour on Diablo, because like they look at Overwatch and go, well, they could do that to Diablo type of thing.
Exactly.
How's Overwatch for you? Is Overwatch going to be your Game of the Year?
No, it won't.
You don't those that $15 story pack?
Definitely not. Definitely not. I'll say Overwatch is Overwatch. The only thing that, for what it is, it's okay. I enjoy it for the momentary, matches and stuff like that. But overall, it still has I think it's slowly getting better. But when I say slowly getting better, that's very slow. It has the potential to somewhat make a little bit more headway to being what it once was, but I think that'll take time, and hopefully with this next topic that might help.
Next topic, we can only hope that now that Microsoft owns Activision-Blizzard-King, that changes will be made at long last. After 20 months of just hearing about this nonsense, Microsoft has finally finished the purchase of Activision Blizzard-King. So over on The Verge, Microsoft, this is straight from an article on The Verge. Microsoft has finalized its $68.7 billion deal to acquire Activision Blizzard, the publisher of Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, and Diablo. The Verge exclusively reported last week that Microsoft was planning to close today, and now it's official. The acquisition required 20 months of battles with regulators in the UK and US, but Microsoft has closed its Activision Blizzard deal after defeating the Federal Trade Commission in a US federal court and restructuring the deal to appease the Competition and Markets Authority, the CMA, in the UK. Elle, we've been talking about this. Our first episode ever of Respawn Please was about the acquisition, because it just happened and stuff. Like, finally, it's over. It's over. We never have to think about this again. Everything's sunshine and rainbows. Nobody's upset about this. Everybody's like, yes, this is happening. If only that was the case. On the flip side, Phil Spencer did tweet out on a positive note, saying, "Today is a good day to play. We officially welcome Activision-Blizzard-King to Team Xbox. Together, we'll create stories and experiences that bring players together in a culture empowering everyone to do their best work and celebrate diverse perspectives." And then on the Xbox blog, Phil Spencer expounded on his thoughts by saying, "We love gaming. We play games, create games, and know firsthand how much gaming means to all of us as individuals and collectively as a community. And today we officially welcome Activision Blizzard and their teams to Xbox. They are the publishers of some of the most played and most beloved franchises in gaming history across console, PC, and mobile. From Pitfall to Call of Duty, World of Warcraft to Overwatch, Candy Crush Saga to Farm Heroes Saga, their studios have pushed the boundaries of gaming for players around the world. I've long admired the work of Activision Blizzard and King and the impact they've had on gaming, entertainment, and pulp culture. Whether it was late nights spent playing the Diablo 4 campaign with friends from start to finish, gathering the entire family in the rec room for our weekly Guitar Hero nights, or going on an epic streak in Candy Crush, some of my most memorable gaming moments came from experience their studios have created. It's incredible to welcome such legendary teams to Xbox." So a very positive note from Phil Spencer about the purchase and everything. Elle, what are your thoughts? How do you feel? Are you happy that this is finally over? It's not over, but the purchase is over, but there's still a lot.
We're still going to talk about this every now and then in a couple of future episodes. No, but I'm happy that this deal is finally done. It's literally like we predicted this would happen. You know,
I said it was going to happen from the beginning. I said, even when the CMA was like, "No, you can't do this," I was still like, it's probably going to get through.
Exactly. And so
I don't see it not getting through. So
exactly. But I'd say other than that, I'm just excited that the deal is finally officially done. Really now that it's done, it's probably still going to be a little bit before we actually see any effects of this, Microsoft owning it. So it's not going to be an immediate thing for those who are happy about this. It's going to take some time because changes have to be implemented, and there will be a big transition of sort of like not necessarily power, but just just like what's going on within the companies, and things will not just happen at the snap of a finger.
There was a lot of disappointment this week because Xbox said basically, there's not going to be any Activision Blizzard titles on Game Pass until 2024. And so of course people were like, what was the point of buying this? Is like, come on, really? Just be happy it's coming. And then I've been seeing people on Twitter and threads and stuff in the space tweeting out oh, this is what we're going to get on Game Pass. And they're showing Spider-Man and Guitar Hero and stuff like that. And I'm like, I highly doubt you're going to get a Spider-Man game because there's licensing issues there. Guitar Hero has licensing issues. I doubt you're going to really get those games because of licensing. A lot of there's probably going to be a lot of licensing issues for a lot of the catalog, especially the established IPs of Spider-Man and stuff. I doubt Sony would be with Microsoft. Of course. Because right now, I believe, Sony owns the IP for games for Sony Microsoft had to go to Sony and be like, hey, could we do this? I'm assuming. Maybe I'm wrong. But I pretty sure there's IP issues that would prevent them from putting things like that out there. Same with Guitar Hero. Also, why would you want do people still have all their guitar thingies for Guitar Hero?
I don't know.
Do people really want that? At that point, just make a new one. But
I know. Yeah, exactly. Right.
But so I do want to bring up this article from IGN. It's the biggest franchises Xbox now owns after acquiring Activision Blizzard. They have a nice little list here. This is not by any means the full list of games or franchises that Xbox now owns after this acquisition, but it kind of paints a picture for you. So on the Activision side, Microsoft now owns Call of Duty, Crash Bandicoot, Guitar Hero, Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, Prototype, Blur, and Spyro. Again, this isn't a full list of everything because they, Activision also has Tony Hawk, Pro Skater, and all that. So those things to keep in mind there. But anything on this list, Ell, that gets you excited that potentially seeing games from?
Definitely, Crash Bandicoot needs a proper. No, it makes me.
They just released a Crash Bandicoot that did well, like last year, 2 years ago. Or something. Did, yeah. So,
no, definitely. I'd say that definitely. I mean, I like Crash Bandicoot. Like you said, they released one. I think last year. You said, and
2 years ago, maybe. I can't remember when Crash Bandicoot 4 came out or whatever.
I think that's cool. I did hear we had mentioned this a little earlier. Some rumblings of. Nothing started, of course, but the idea of people are playing with of potentially doing a new Guitar Hero, potentially. Yeah. There's a lot of issues that they're going to have to go through just to make that happen. But I think that's cool. Not that I would play it, but I think it's cool more so for a nostalgia thing. Just because, when Guitar Hero came out, it was like the game that everyone had to play,
I was one of the few people in the world that did not give a flying shit about Guitar Hero. I've never owned a Guitar Hero game. I've never owned a guitar thing. Wow. Never really played it. Never played them really, except maybe like in the dorms for like when other people were like, let's play this in the dorms. And it's like, whatever. Like I've never cared about Guitar Hero.
So I think for me, that's pretty cool. Other than that, I mean, Sekiro's pretty cool too, as well. I don't really care too much for Call of Duty because I think it'll be Call of Duty as well.
Yeah, you're not excited about the purple dragon Spyro? Spyro. This is the one I'm the most excited about. Spyro is the one I love Spyro.
On my list of video game characters, Spyro's kind of towards the bottom for me. I mean,
you're a bitch. Spyro's dope.
Spyro.
Don't hate on my dragon. Don't hate on my dragon, bro.
I tried to get into Spyro when I was young, and I just couldn't get into Spyro as much. But I had I think a couple of the games. But I just wasn't into Spyro as much. But anyway.
Spyro's great, man. And then I am interested in Prototype just to see what they can do with Prototype. Prototype is the superhero game thing. Prototype had the unfortunate release next to Infamous. And I feel like Infamous was the one that took all the conversation at the time.
Yeah.
Even though Prototype was multi-platform and Infamous was exclusive to PlayStation 3 at the time, it felt like Infamous was the one that more people played and more people talked about compared to Prototype. And then Prototype 2 was just not, in my opinion, was not a good game. But
gotcha.
I'm interested in seeing Prototype come back because Prototype, they were fun, like simple superhero games where you could technically be a superhero or you could be a villain or whatever and stuff. So
nice.
Yeah. And then I've never played Blur. That's a racing game, right? So
yeah,
I've never played Blur.
I never played Blur either.
But yeah, over on the Blizzard side, though, of course, they have Diablo, Warcraft, Overwatch, StarCraft, and then Lost Vikings, which I'm not familiar with Lost Vikings.
I think I've heard of that, but not too much.
Yeah, I mean, like Blizzard has its flagships, and like I don't think too much is going to change, like on the World of Warcraft side or anything. I'm sure World of Warcraft, they're just going to be like, yeah, keep doing your thing. Maybe Microsoft steps in with Overwatch and goes, okay, let's reevaluate everything that you guys have been talking about. Though Microsoft is fairly hands off, so I doubt too much will change with Overwatch. The one that I would be I'm definitely interested in seeing more of is StarCraft, though. I would love to see StarCraft sort of just like has died out in like the last almost. It doesn't feel like StarCraft has like a mainstay. Like I don't hear people talking about StarCraft. Like at one time it was like StarCraft was like StarCraft kind of was like a big esports thing. And like I don't even hear about that anymore. And so, I'm interested in seeing StarCraft come back, whether as StarCraft 3 or just, something StarCraft related. Cause like I love StarCraft 1. I love StarCraft 2. So.
Agreed. I think that with the Blizzard side, I don't think a lot's going to change. It almost feel externally, I almost feel like what will change will be the internal, the work environments, more than anything. With all the controversy that they've had with the working conditions, the treatment of employees and things like that. Hopefully that's the hope, I would say, just because, that definitely needs like an overhaul of changes. And so I think that Diablo will continue being Diablo, Warcraft the same. I think Overwatch potentially the same as well. Hopefully StarCraft gets a revitalization. And like we said earlier, I don't know too much about Lost Vikings, so I can't really speak to that. But Yeah.
I think Lost Vikings is like one of their first like RTS games, I believe. I can just look it up. Lost Vikings. Yeah, it's a puzzle platform game, so they could revise it. So I was completely wrong. Yeah, it looks awful. It looks awful. Very much of the SNES days.
Gotcha.
Sucks. Yeah. And then I don't really care about anything with King related because it's all mobile stuff that I've never played. Yeah. Candy Crush, Rebel Riders, Diamond Diaries, Bubble Witch. It's whatever. King's that even though Microsoft pretty much wanted this for the mobile aspect of it. King, it's the one side of it that I don't really know anything about. And so I don't really care about it. But hey, I'm sure Microsoft will be happy with that side as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the one big thing to keep in mind too is that unfortunately, it's been reported that Bobby Kotick will still be around for at least until 2024. So Bobby Kotick is still going to be around. So there's, I know a lot of people have been wanting him to be released, and people were hoping that he would be released after that acquisition and everything. And so still a chance that he might, but Bobby Kotick's still around for now. And yeah, unfortunately, who's not around anymore? A man, a myth, a legend who oversaw 24 years of Bethesda, or at least worked at Bethesda for 24 years. Pete Hines is leaving Bethesda in a tweet that he made, which I'll read now. After 24 years, I've decided my time at Bethesda Softworks has come to an end. I am retiring and will begin an exciting new chapter of my life exploring interests and passions, donating my time where I can, and taking more time to enjoy life. This was not a decision I came to easily or quickly, but after an amazing career, culminating in the incredible launch of Starfield, it feels like the time is right. This is certainly not... Sorry. This is certainly not goodbye by any means. My love of Bethesda and its people has never wavered, and I will never stop being part of this incredible community we have grown. Thank you to the hundreds and thousands of fans I've gotten to meet and talk to over the last 24 years. Your energy, creativity, and support has been such a big part of my journey. I look forward to experiencing the next part of the adventure alongside you. Working with the amazing people, teams, and studios at Bethesda has been the greatest experience of my life. I'm incredibly proud of everything we have done together, and I'm genuinely excited to see the amazing things they will create next. Love you guys, Pete. So Pete Hines was one of the big faces of Bethesda alongside Todd Howard. And so 24 years. Wow. That means he was there for Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, Fallout, Fallout 4, and then Starfield. He's been a big part of the history of Bethesda. He's been there for all the big, changes. Like Morrowind was revolutionary at the time. Oblivion was revolutionary. Skyrim, revolutionary. In many ways, Starfield is also revolutionary. Maybe not to the scale of like Skyrim or Oblivion's, but Starfield was still it's still an exceptional game in my opinion. People may have different opinions about it, but 24 years, he deserves it. He deserves to retire in peace. And we see these I'm retiring type things. And oftentimes the cynics want to be like, oh, it's probably because something bad happened. I don't think that's the case with Pete Hines. I think it's 24 years. Yeah. He deserves to just walk away after such a successful career, seeing the launch of so many games that people love. Like this is well deserved, in my opinion. Yeah, no, definitely. I agree. I mean, this is a long career. I think I saw somewhere so 24 years, and I think he's retiring around 50, 52, something like that. And so, I mean, man, to have seen that many titles come and go, and just, deliver them, that's definitely a long, successful career. And maybe for him, he was just like, I've done what I need to do. My time is now, and I will bid you all a farewell, and, hopefully, wish you all the best. And so I think it's well deserved. Like I said, I don't think it has anything to do with
anything else going on, whether it be the deal or just the game, what's going on in the gaming industry, or just, changes that are happening. I think it's more so like he's probably at a point now where he just wants to enjoy retirement and maybe, spend time with family, doing whatever he wants to do and just enjoying life, like you said.
Yeah. So it's, I'm getting emotional. It's breaking my heart. No, it's, it's a well-deserved thing. Like, it's wild to think too, like, Bethesda as a whole has been some of my favorite games come from Bethesda. Like, I love Morrowind. I fucking love Dishonored. I talk about it all the fucking time. I love Dishonored. I love Starfield. I love Skyrim. I just like Bethesda games have always been special, and like Pete Hines has always been there. Like him and Todd Howard have just always been there. They've been the faces for me, and so it's like, even when I was a young, dumb kid in 2007 playing Oblivion, like Pete Hines, I watched Pete Hines interviews about Oblivion and stuff like that. Yeah. Or read about interviews with Pete Hines talking about Oblivion and stuff. And then like, it's just fascinating to like see like that connection. It's like when Major Nelson, left a couple months ago. It's like, man, that was such a big part of my Xbox experience. And in many ways, Bethesda was part of my Xbox experience too, because Bethesda, even though Bethesda was only bought by Xbox in 2021, right? 2020. Xbox and Bethesda have always like had a closer relationship. Like Morrowind was was console exclusive to Xbox, the original Xbox, and then Oblivion was launch exclusive to Xbox for consoles. So it's like they've always had a close relationship, and so part of my Xbox experience was with Bethesda. So like it's just wild to see. Like, I forget that we are getting old, and so are they, and so of course these big titans of the industry are leaving. Like it's just a matter of time before we see like the Todd Howards also retire and other people retire. I'm sure Phil Spencer is probably thinking of retirement too at some point.
Definitely,
because they're not going to stay in these companies forever, even though like we associate them with the companies. I mean, look at Jim Ryan over on PlayStation. He's leaving.
Yep.
And he's been a big part of the like push for PlayStation and all of that these last few years. And so like, these like, they're making way for like a new generation, and I'm interested in seeing what that's going to be like. And it also kind of sucks because it's like these people were there, in many ways. So
yeah, agreed.
So
couldn't have said it better.
So weird. So anyways, I think that's it. I think we're done for the day. Pete Hines, I'm going to miss you. I'm sure you deserve it. And thank you for the 24 years and all the games.
Agreed.
Now, wind us down on this somber note.
Everybody, thanks for tuning in to the Respawn Please podcast live edition. You can always catch the edited version of the podcast, the video version, here on our YouTube at Respawn Please Podcast. Make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, share. Also, you can catch the audio version of this podcast. It's usually available every Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, available everywhere you get podcasts. Follow us on social media on TikTok and Instagram at Respawn Please Podcast. And make sure to subscribe to our other shows as well, because we also have Review Please Anime Edition, as well as on our YouTube we have Review Please Video Game Edition. And we also have Relax and Respawn as well, which is more behind the scenes type of podcast for us that we do here. Available everywhere you get podcasts. Other than that, thanks so much.
Thank you. Bye.